Welcome to this episode of Alive and Thriving. Today I am reflecting upon my last 2 years in business. And as I have been partaking in this reflection, I have been really redefining not my why, not even my mission, but my movement. And I want to talk about this in this episode because it really shapes not only why I am doing what I'm doing, why the things that I offer within my business look the way that they do, why I'm so passionate about the work that I do with clients, but also how it is so much bigger than me and how it even transcends you as an individual client. So I would love for you to stick around and really hear the real movement that I am pioneering in this business, what Inspired Life Collective really stands for, and what we are here to change. Now, if you are interested in working one-on-one with me, then I invite you to book a discovery call. This is a free 20-minute phone chat where we talk about what is going on for you and how the power of alternative therapies may be just what you need to come out of this space where you are not connected to yourself, where you are not living authentically, where stress and anxiety may be controlling your life, and step into this place of living fully aligned and feeling fulfilled and feeling energetically like you can create a life that you are really excited to be waking up to. So let's get started. This is Alive and Thriving, where we tackle all things that stand in the way of holistic well-being and self-care in life and as women in business. Join me for real and raw conversations and inspiring guests who are expert in their fields as we come back to life together, overcoming stress, anxiety, nourishing our mind, body, and emotions. I am your host, Jessica Reed, alternative therapist, life and wellbeing coach. And if you are ready to grow, heal, and thrive together, then you are in the right place. So over the past few weeks, I have been diving deeply into, I don't like to say my purpose because I do feel like purpose changes. And I feel like sometimes we can put too much pressure on the word purpose, particularly if we're in a place where we're not living from a regulated nervous system. We're not living in a state of alignment in our mind and our body and our emotions. And, purpose can feel like something that we're really missing. So I don't want to say I've been reflecting on purpose, but I have been reflecting on my business. And I went because I had celebrated, I think it was about 2 weeks ago now, my second business birthday. So I'm in the 3rd year now of Inspired Life Collective. And I have gone back to the beginning. I went back to my why and my mission and, these things that we create when we create our business. And whilst those things are still at the core of what I'm doing, what I have realized, and there are a few things that have dropped in for me, really more as I lean more into my human design, as I start to work with the way that I am designed, as I start to work with what my body wants me to be doing, as I start to really work more energetically and tap in more spiritually as well. I feel like these things are dropping in. And what I have really come to the realization of, particularly over the last couple of weeks, is that it is not just a business that I am running, and what I actually stand for and the reasons behind why I do what I do actually really, they're bigger than me as a being. and they transcend my clients as well, because every single woman who comes into this space with me, who comes and steps into this world of healing, becomes a part of this bigger movement. So let me really talk about what I mean by this. And I'm really excited to share this. Like, I feel like this is just, it's really quite moving for me, and it's really emotional. And I want to share the movement, and then I want to break down what I mean and how I see this. So the Inspired Life Collective movement is that I'm committed to pioneering a movement that challenges the normalization of stress and anxiety as a standard way for living. My movement aims to empower women to embrace their emotions, encouraging them to accept all aspects of their mind, body, and past experiences, while enhancing optimal holistic well-being and success through a regulated nervous system. I am here to disrupt the status quo for a world where women and future generations feel safe to feel deeply and to live fully and to live aligned and authentically. Now, this is big. This feels big, but this really summarizes what Inspired Life Collective is all about for me. It is the driving force behind why I create tapping circles. It is the driving force behind why I have my 4-step framework for my one-on-one calls. It is the driving force behind including somatic therapies like the Flow Presso bodysuit, and the driving force behind a really, really special container that I am creating behind the scenes at the moment. So let's break this down. I am committed to pioneering a movement that challenges the normalization of stress and anxiety as a standard way for living. This really grinds my gears. It really, really does. Busy has become so normalized, and burnout is often even celebrated. Now, you will have heard me say so often, ask someone how they are. How has their day been? How is their husband going? How are the kids? And so often you will get the words, I'm busy. Oh yeah, it's been really busy. Yeah, good, but busy. Oh, he's busy. Yeah, he's busy. Now, when we are busy, life is busy. I get that. My life is busy too. But when we live in a state of busy, when we are not able to ground ourselves, when we are not able to come into our present moment, when we are not able to create a regulated nervous system for ourselves, then we are living in a state of stress. Then we are living in a body and a mind that can thrive in anxiety. We're living in a space where anxiety thrives, is what I meant. And every second person that you meet now has anxiety. Every second person that you meet, or I'd even argue more, in fact, some studies show that around 80% of us live in fight or flight response all of the time, are stressed. And so society as a whole has normalized this standard of living. If you have heard me talk about my story in my old workplace, where every single person around me was working the same ridiculous hours, taking the same ridiculous amount of work home with them. Every single person around me was easily run down, catching every cold and flu that went around, and dealing with bigger illnesses, and for so many of them, anxiety as well. Now, that was a normal standard of living. Everybody around me was doing it. How was I supposed to know that that wasn't how I was meant to be feeling? That I wasn't meant to be living in this state of stress and anxiety. And so I'm really committed to challenging that normalization for every single woman who comes into work with me, one-on-one, for every single person who follows me on Instagram, who follows me on YouTube, or I'm not on TikTok much, but anywhere on social media, who comes into my world in some way. I hope that you can hear that I am challenging that normalization of stress and anxiety being a standard way for living, because you deserve so much more. Stress and anxiety will always be a part of our life, but how we cope with it is going to be up to the individual, and it is going to be up to how you have dealt with your trauma, where it lives in your body. It is going to be up to the conditioning and the beliefs and the stories that you've grown up with, the things that you've learned in your subconscious mind to be normal. It is going to be contributed to by so many different aspects. And so, yes, having some stress is fine, but living in that place, living in that state of anxiety is not only not, what I wish for any of you, but it's also not healthy. And, we talk about the stress response, and we talk about the physical changes that happen when we're in our fight or flight mode, and the impact that has on our physical body with our excess stress hormones, cortisol, that can impact other female hormones and can impact weight gain and can impact your immune system, your lymphatic drainage system. Adrenaline, there are some cancer cells that are receptive to adrenaline. When we look at the amount of illnesses and diseases and conditions and things that are now all being either linked back to or linking stress as a contributor, it's so clear to me that, this normalization of living in stress is actually really, really unhealthy. Really, really unhealthy. And so we move into the part now of my movement that aims to empower women to embrace their emotions, encouraging them to accept all aspects of their mind and body and past experiences. Now, this is where we start to let go of the toxicity that is within our body from the low frequency emotions and the physical state that our body has been living in beyond trauma and beyond stress. Now, in this world, for so many of us, we have been brought up and conditioned to suppress our feelings, particularly not anger, and as children, so many of us are told, don't cry, calm down, don't be angry. And so as we get older and we are faced with these real life challenges where we are challenged by relationships, we are challenged by day-to-day stress, we are challenged by grief and loss, we are challenged by so many things, and we have so many emotions that come up. How confusing. How confusing for the adult that does not know how to deal with it or to even know what they're feeling, because it hasn't been normal for them to actually embrace their emotions and understand that emotions are a part of our human experience. So this is a big, big, big driver for me. And you'll always hear me say as we work together that we sit with the emotion and we validate the emotion, because if we push it down, then it will live and remain in your body, and it will show up as illness, as injury, as unexplained pain, as anxiety, as panic, as stress. It will manifest like that in your body. And a part of this, a part of being able to feel your emotions, a part of being able to embrace what is happening for you is that acceptance. Acceptance of who you are, acceptance of what you've experienced, acceptance of what has gotten you to that point of where you are now. Because once we have acceptance, we can truly heal. We can truly move forward. And then I speak about enhancing optimal holistic well-being and success through a regulated nervous system. And I touched on that just before when I spoke about living in a stress response. So when we are not regulated, when we are living in a place of sympathetic nervous system or dorsal nervous system, where we are not in our ventral state or we are not in our parasympathetic nervous system, the body is just not functioning properly. Plain and simple. It is not functioning properly. And mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you are going to be impacted by this space of dysregulation. And so when we spoke about stress and the impact of stress on health and well-being, enhancing your optimal holistic well-being, holistic meaning mind, body, soul, emotions. Okay, your physical body needs a regulated nervous system. Your mental health needs a regulated nervous system. Your success and your outcomes need a regulated nervous system. They need a nervous system that has been taught safety around your growth, that has been taught safety around success. So that's just a bit of food for thought there. The final part of my movement statement is that I am here to disrupt the status quo for a world where women and future generations feel safe to feel deeply and to live fully and aligned and authentically. Now, I touched on this when I spoke about being able to sit in emotions and being able to feel things. Because as soon as we start to feel something uncomfortable, we don't want to be uncomfortable. So quite often we will suppress it, we will distract ourselves, we will not allow ourselves to actually feel good and bad. And for me, my human design is that I'm a manifesting generator with an emotional authority. And what has really helped me understanding this, particularly when it comes to the emotional authority, is that I used to really struggle to understand how I could go from really high to really low really quickly. And as I understand the way that I have been designed, and everybody's human design is different, but when you are an emotional authority, you are designed to ride those emotional roller coasters. You are designed to be able to understand the depth of other people's emotions, not necessarily because you have experienced exactly what they've been through, but because you have experienced their emotion. And so for me, as a woman who could feel over the moon one day and then experience a real emotional low the next for no apparent reason, knowing that it is actually safe for me and for anybody else like me, or for anybody feeling those highs and their lows for a reason, but knowing that it is safe for us to actually feel our emotions, women and men. We don't have to suppress our emotions. It is safe to feel them. It is safe to feel our experiences, and it is safe to live fully and to live aligned with our mind and our body and our soul, aligned in a regulated nervous system, aligned with our human design or with our personality types, or, aligned with however you are learning to understand yourself, aligned with your values. and authentically showing up as yourself, because that is safe. Although for so many of us, we don't feel like it is, for whatever reasons and stories and beliefs and conditioning we've had that's proved that right over and over again. And for me, this is bigger. This is bigger than me, because the healing that I do and the generational trauma that I break directly impacts my children and the next generation. And it's the same for you. The healing that you do will directly impact your next generation. And what you learn and how you learn to live, in terms of whether you are living constantly in a state of stress or whether you are living in a regulated nervous system for the majority of the time, you know, how easily you can regulate after a stressful event. All of these things, your emotional intelligence, all of these things that you are learning as you heal and as you self-discover and as you grow, this all directly impacts the next generation. So my healing is bigger than me. My business is bigger than me. Your healing is bigger than you. And you can see that every time somebody steps into this world that I'm creating and holding space for you to heal, empowering you to thrive in your life, how you are actually stepping into this bigger picture, this bigger movement that is bigger than just us. Because collectively, we are stronger. And collectively, we can impact the way that future generations handle their emotions, the way that they deal with stress. And hopefully, we can teach them that this societal standard of busy is not actually normal. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Absolutely love to hear it. Pop over and see me on Instagram at jessica.reed.ilc. Come over and have a chat. This movement just honestly means so much to me. And if you have stopped and you have listened, and I just actually want to say one more thing. When I was thinking really about the normalization of stress and anxiety, and how our holistic health really does depend on us not living in this constant state of stress, because like we're wired for survival, our brain thinks that we are constantly under attack, under threat. And I was thinking about it from a health perspective, because for so many people, they'll be like, well, why would I deal with my emotions? How is that actually going to impact my health and well-being? So I just want you to think of this hypothetical situation. Let's say that you have been living in a long-term place of stress, and potentially that has led to, high blood pressure. Now, when you have high blood pressure, there is a higher chance that you could form a blood clot. Now, a blood clot can cause a stroke. Could you imagine if you were able to desensitize the way and reprogram the way that your body has perceived trauma and negative emotional experiences, and you were able to help your nervous system to reset after regular daily stressful experiences, and live primarily in a state where your body is in its parasympathetic nervous system, which is where health happens, where our blood pressure is lowered, where you then potentially may not form that clot, where you then may potentially not end up. I had a pulmonary embolism from a blood clot when I was living in a high place of stress. So can you see how the potential, not making any claims because obviously there are so many varying factors to lifestyle choices and genetic inheritance and all these things. But can you see how something that is within your control, which is how you choose to feel, the thoughts that you choose to think that are going to also directly impact your nervous system, can you see how those actually have the potential to save your life? So it's pretty big. I'm going to stop there because I could just keep going. I feel so passionate about this for so many reasons, personally and professionally. And yeah, I would absolutely love to hear what you think. So thank you so much if you've listened and joined me to really understand what the Inspired Life movement is all about. And until next week, I will...
You have been listening to Alive and Thriving by Inspired Life Collective. Did you know that you can help us to impact even more women on their well-being journey simply by subscribing to this podcast and leaving a review? If stress or anxiety, life or business has got you feeling inside like you are just busting to come back to life, then I invite you to book a discovery call with me so we can chat about how Inspired Life Collective private and online services might be able to support you through your journey. I am so grateful to you for being here and having me in your ears. So until the next episode, just remember that you were born to thrive.